So, dummy links, this sounds weird, and a lot of what you're doing now is kind of weird because it's not maths that you've done before. So on Monday, we went over how do you draw a network. Now, there's certain situations where you need something called a dummy link to fix networks that don't appropriately, this was Monday's, and this one's today's, and there's a second one for today later. All right, let's see. Let's refresh your memory from Monday. I have a precedence network here, and then I have my drawing area here. Based on your current knowledge of drawing networks, what do I draw on the left side of my drawing area? Start. I have two tasks here that have no prerequisites. So where do they come out of? They come out of the start. So A and B are going to come out of the start. And I draw little nodes at the end of them. Now I just drew A and B. I look at C. It's got a prerequisite of A. So where is C going to come out of? C is going to come out of A. Good. D also requires A. So D is going to come out of A. And then I look, D also requires B. So I'm going to apply a correction. I'm going to correct B and curve it around. And so now I have my network, not finished yet. Are C and D prerequisites of anything? No, so they're going to end at the end node. Based on what you know now, that's what you would draw, but there's something wrong with that. What does that network say that the table doesn't? No, that's not even that. It's connections. Is D coming out of the end of A and B? Good. So that's correct. Does C require D according to the table? But the network says it does. Oh, sorry. Does C require B in the table? No. But right now, C is coming out of the end of both A and B, which is wrong. That's why you need today's knowledge. What is a dummy link? A dummy link corrects that. Okay? So, however, this network incorrectly suggests that task C has both A and B, but that's not the case. C only requires A. So what do we need? We need something called a dummy link. So what is a dummy link? Dummy links work according to the following rules. You need a dummy link when multiple tasks share some prerequisites, but not all the same. So if I look at that table, do C and D share A? They share A as a prerequisite. But do they both require A and B? No. One of them requires A, the other one requires A and B. So you have a situation where multiple tasks share some prerequisites, but they're not all the same. That's how we identify where we need this dummy link. And what are they? They're a dotted arrow. They have no letter. They have no duration. And the rule for drawing them, because your book's certainly not going to give it to you, I had to come up with the rules myself. The dummy link comes from the end of the shared prerequisite, and it goes to the start of the task that has other prerequisites. So if I see here, what is the shared prerequisite? It's A. So the dummy link is going to go from A, and it's going to go to D, because D is the task that has another prerequisite. It's got B there, right? Let's show that process here. So let's correct the previous example, knowing how dummy links work. You draw the network. Let me do the thinking process. Are there shared prerequisites in that question? Yes. Are the shared prerequisites exactly the same? No. One of them's A, one of them's A and B. Is a dummy link needed? Yes, because they share some but not all. What is the shared prerequisite? The shared prerequisite is A. I'll circle them here. Which task has the other prerequisite? D has the other prerequisite. Draw the dummy link connection in your table to remind, then draw the network. So the dummy link is going to go from the shared prerequisite, which is A, and it's going to go to the task with another prerequisite. Why do I draw that in the table? So that when I draw the network, I know that I'm going to have a dotted line going from the end of A to the start of D. So let's draw this now. A and B will come out of the start. Why is that? They have no prerequisites. Tick, tick. C requires what? What is the only prerequisite of C? So C definitely comes out of A. What does D require? D requires both A and B. But I have a dotted line telling me that I have a dotted line in the table telling me there's going to be dummy link going from the end of A, so the end of A down to connect with B, and D is going to come out of that. Because how does D get A? D gets A through the dummy link, and D gets B directly from B. And now I finish off the network. Are C and D prerequisites of anything? They don't come up in the prerequisites column, so they're going to join up to, apply my correction, they're going to join up to the end node. Correct. Now my network doesn't break any rules. Does C require A? Yes, C only gets A directly. Does D require A and B? D gets B directly, and D gets A through the dotted line. Okay? Can you get that example down, please? And then we'll do one raw together. Just quickly at this one so I can scroll down to the next example. People can grab the... Well, actually, no, I printed them out for you. I'm stupid. You've got it already. I will scroll. All right, let's do an example raw. Less me, more you. Guys, you want to come? You can come here. Here you go. Don't drop it. $1,600. Draw a precedence network for the project in the table below. So before I start drawing a network, I will always look at the table and go, is there anything shared? There's a bunch of A's shared. Do you notice how D and E, they share A and B, but they share both A and B. So there's not going to be a dummy link for that. There's going to be a dummy link for the A that comes from C and that is shared by D and E, because they all require A, but D and E, they require something else. So let's draw the network as normal. Task A, what prerequisite does it have? Nothing, so it's going to come out of the start. I don't care what the angle is, because you can apply corrections after. What's the other task that has no prerequisites? So draw that weird angle, whatever, and put nodes at the end of each. C requires what? A. So C is definitely going to come out of A. Let's deal with the dummy links now. A is shared. And what was my rule about dummy links? The dummy link comes from the end of the shared task, which is A, we circled it, and it joins onto the task or tasks that have other prerequisites. What are the tasks that have other prerequisites than A? D and? Good. So A is going to connect to both D and E. So how does that work in practice? It's going to be similar to the one that we just drew. Coming out of A is going to be a dotted line connecting to the end of B. How does that help us? Because whatever comes out of this node here is getting A from the dotted line, and it gets B directly. What are the two tasks that require A and B? D and E. So D and E will both come out of there. I don't care about the angle. You're not being marked on the angle. You're being marked on the connections. So the only decisions we need to make now are we've drawn all the tasks except F. F requires C and D. Does C and D join currently? So let's join them now. So you would have to cross out, but I'm going to erase. So C and D are going to join up here. So what comes out of C and D finishing? F. It feels weird because E's hanging down there by itself. But what was the rules that I gave you? If they don't appear as a prerequisite, they join onto the end. So do E and F appear as prerequisites to anything? They're not in the prerequisites column. So F, I can finish with the end. And then E, I can apply a correction. I'll erase that arrow head and just join it on to there. So the only thing missing from this is I haven't put the times. So next to A, I'll do a comma. A3, B4, C8, D10, E12, F4. Please don't freak out if your network isn't the exact same angles of arrows and stuff as the answer. You're not being marked on what the network, how it sits. Just don't cross the arrows. That's number one. And number two, you're being marked on how they connect. That's it. It doesn't have to look the same. You don't know what the answer is meant to look like, right? So that's dummy links for you, yeah? I'll stop the video there.